Hey guys, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and today I've got a comic book haul video for you. Now, these books all came from WhatNot, from a couple different dealers, and we'll talk about them. But let's talk about WhatNot in general first, though. I had taken myself off at the end of last year, probably around the end of December. I took myself off WhatNot from buying. I realized I was just buying too many things. And at that point, there were a handful of dealers, and I was still finding some good deals, but I realized I was just picking up stuff that why am I picking this up? And took myself off for a while, and then when I finally came back here a month or two ago, I couldn't believe the number of dealers that are actually on there. And so you've got a lot of people that you may not have heard of, you've got a lot of stores that you have heard of, and then you definitely had some of the big YouTube guys out there in our comic book community. So I want to give a shout out to the people I bought books from, and this was from probably the last couple sales that they had on their Tuesday night shows over the last couple weeks. Very first one is going to be Very Gary Comics. He was every Tuesday night. Him and Erod 212 have their shows back to back, and I picked up books from both of them. And one of the reasons I went to their shows is I know what kind of quality books that they pick up, and I was hoping that the quality of their books were also going to be sold. And my reasoning is, even if it was a lower grade book, they were going to be hopefully pretty honest about the book itself. And I gotta say, I was pretty happy with the books that I got from both of them. And so let's just get into the books. It's going to be a quick video. So let's start with Very Gary here. I picked up a copy of Crisis on Infinite Earths number 7 and number 8, and both of them are pretty high grade. This number 8 does have a little tiny micro color breaking spine text, but the number 7 though is whoops, I just put a bend in it there. Number 7 here actually looks really good, so going to be interesting. Now, of course, most of these books I'll take out, I'll put them in the press, and we'll see how they grade out. You know me, I love sending in Crisis 7 and 8, try to get them graded. I finally got 9/8 on both of them. Very excited about that. I also picked up a new copy of Infinity Gauntlet number 1, and I got this back. I've got a 9/6 on it, I got a 9/8 on it. I'm always, if the price on this one's really good, I'll pick it up with a shot of trying to get that another 9.8. I don't need it for the collection, but I wouldn't mind turning something like this around if I can get that high grade and selling it. So we'll see how this one grades out. It looks really good. Also from Very Gary picked up another copy of Spider-Man 2099, the first issue. Now, it seems to me like this book right here, it's kind of over the last 8 months, it's kind of gone up and it's kind of gone down. I'm not really even sure where it is. I know that I don't want to be spending as much as I was 6 months ago, say, to pick up a raw copy of this. So maybe the market's down a little bit, but with the new Into the Spider-Verse movie with Miles Morales, that we know that Spider-Man 2099 is going to be in, maybe this will pick back up again. I'm hopeful that this will grade out really good. Right now, the front of it just looks spectacular. I actually haven't pulled it out to see how that cardstock cover is on the backside, but I have faith that it's going to be pretty good. And of course, we'll put it in the shop, see what we can do. Now, this is the biggest book I picked up from Very Gary, was New Mutants number 87, and this looks spectacular. I mean, he had a near mint marked on the bag and board, and I gotta tell you, it's really nice. I literally just got this out. I've had this order in for about a week or so now. So this was from a sale from a couple weeks ago, and this book right here was just spectacular. It came out of my press, just looking just absolutely stunning. Of course, I'm going to let it sit there for a little bit before I decide to send it into the CGC, but I've got high hopes for this book here, the first appearance of Cable. And then the last thing I picked up from Very Gary, and it's just because it was a decent price, and it's one of his exclusives, It's Something That's Killing Your Children, number 16, and this is that's his exclusive cover there, and it's one of those things. I love picking up some of these. This is more of a personal thing. I don't think this is really a spec thing at this point. I don't know if it's necessarily highly sought after, but for the price I paid for this, you're almost paying for grading. It was not that expensive, and gotta love Something Skilled in Children. So that was kind of neat. And then I don't think it was actually the same night. I think it was a week later. I picked up from Erod212. Now everybody knows him. He does a lot of pressing and working on books, and has phenomenal knowledge about the books and what he can do to them and things like that. I see him picking up books, new moderns and older books and everything. Talking about his pressing and stuff. I guess I don't see him talking about the pressing as much as I do him talking about going to cons and picking up books and picking up deals and everything. But he had a few books on one show here. I think this one's actually a week ago. And I never had this. This is a lower grade copy. This is Marvel Superheroes number 17 with the Black Knight. And I always loved that cover. I'd never really seen it up close, but it wasn't too expensive, and I like, okay, I'm just going to jump in and get a copy of this. This is more for the PC than anything. It's not I don't think it's a gradable book, actually, but with the Black Knight being in the MCU now, that, this book could go up in value a little bit, but in the meantime, it's a PC book that I'll hold on to. As I said, it's a little bit lower grade. But I knew that. I mean, he described it, and it wasn't like it was a shock or anything. I picked up, this is a book I've always wanted. It's probably about the third book in the Submariner run from the 60s that I wanted. I wanted issue number 8 with The Thing. I wanted issue number 1. Of course, that was the first issue of the series, but I always wanted this one. Now, this is not the first appearance of Tiger Shark. It's the second, but I love this cover. This cover is spectacular. I mean, compared to the issue prior, which is his first appearance and cover appearance, this one's just striking. Man, if they had done this cover for that issue, I don't know, it would have been more valuable. But I bought this because I wanted this in my PC. I don't know if it's going to be something I'm going to end up grading. It's and it looks really good. I mean, you look at this and you got some sharp corners. I mean, this is some dark inks right there, and they got some sharp corners over here. Very minor on the spine tick over here. It looks really nice. Now, I also picked up a high grade copy of Avengers number 50. This is a book I didn't need for my PC. I've got most of the Avengers books I've been collecting over the last 40 years. So, but I can always use a good high grade copy of something like this, whether I want it. Now, this is something that will get graded. It's a case of, do I keep it for the collection? Most likely, if I get it graded at this point, it'll be something I'll end up reselling. But so I took a flyer on that a little bit, just being higher grade. And then I actually won one of Erod212's one of his sales, or not sales, what do you call it? The giveaways. And he had a copy of Fantastic Four number 78. And it's a little bit lower grade than the one I have, but the one I have, I was this close to sending in the CGC. I bought it many, many years ago. It was still in the same bag from Mile High Comics. It was listed as near mint. I don't even remember what I paid for it, but I got it out. I was going to do a little bit of work on it, try to maybe do a light press on it to kind of make sure everything's smoothed out. And what I found was the cover was detached from one of the staples. So I'm like, what do I do with this? So I was a little disappointed. So I'm always looking for a better copy of it. This is a good copy. It's not quite as good, but it looks like the cover's attached at the very least. But that was nice. So thank you, Erod212. I've got another copy of this issue right here. Jack Kirby goodness and everything. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I've been picking up recently from WhatNot and from two of the big YouTube guys in the comic book community. I want to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. I really like the books I've got here, and I look forward to your Tuesday night shows. So, in fact, I'm shooting this on a Tuesday. Right now, I will probably be there later tonight with the WhatNot going and seeing what you guys have for tonight. So, thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I will see you for the next one. Take care.